Hello, welcome. It's me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Today we are talking about the weekly transits. We have the new moon in the sign Capricorn this week and a lot of other exciting aspects. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Do your due diligence as a YouTuber. And also, if you're into tarot, because I'm also a tarot reader, go ahead and click the link in the bio because I have a free tool for you to learn how to read tarot if you're interested in that. And if you want a free reading, click the link because I have something for you too. So first, we're going to talk about January 8th. Monday, we are starting off the week. Venus is going to conjunct the moon and Mercury is going to square Neptune. Venus is in the sign Sagittarius, is conjunct the moon, meaning that the moon is in the same sign. That's going to happen at 12 degrees. It's going to happen at 10:44 a.m. and 12 degrees is a Pisces degree. So there's some endings, there's some fogginess, there's something that's quite not really clear. Aliens, drugs, madness, all that stuff can happen. At the same time, there is love. There is usually some love in the air, and it's very optimistic. There could be some philosophical connections, and maybe it's in the themes of a Pisces theme because we are dealing with that 12 degrees, and maybe it's in the theme of philosophy as far as how the world ends, things that are very unclear, but there are some connections dealing with that Pisces energy. Oh, Pisces also could represent photography. So there could be some aesthetics that are dealing with the world and you're very emotionally attached to that. That same day, Mercury is going to square Neptune. That's going to happen at 5:24 p.m. Now that is in 25 degrees. 25 degrees is an Aries degree, and it's about beginning, starting something, leadership. Those are going to be like the themes of this transit. And squaring is a very challenging, no bueno aspect, okay? And Mercury is the planet of communication and thinking and our logic, and it's squaring Neptune. And Neptune is all about spirituality, things that are unseen, things that are foggy, things. Neptune is very it's very unclear. There's fog, or maybe everything looks so great and amazing because there's this rosy colored lens. And what does that mean when it's squaring? That means that there is some communication challenges, miscommunication, misinformation, conflicting perspectives, because you have the planet of clarity with the fogginess. So you have that going on. So there's two different viewpoints that could be happening that same day. Idealism versus reality, idealistic reporting. So like some news stories may be more idealistic and optimistic, and possibly neglecting details that are going to be information that we need. There could be like a creative block because Neptune is a very creative energy, and there could be some creativities blocked. Also, there is the energy of intuition and going beyond yourself. That could be a blocked energy. There's some deceptions and illusions because of that fogginess. You could have some illusions there, deceptive information. Spirituality could be explored, right? Because it is in the sign Sagittarius. At the same time, you could be over exploring or really falling into some philosophical or spiritual dynamics that are very deceptive is the word that I was using. So be careful of being very vulnerable to being easily influenced by some things, or maybe be like a spiritual leader of some sort. Now, Mercury in Sagittarius is very adaptable. It's very flexible, and the illusions and the challenges with these illusions could be very strong because you're so willing to be open for anything. Okay, so just be aware of all the challenges in communicative platforms as well. So that's what you get that day. Now, January 9th, the moon is going to be in Sagittarius and it's going to conjunct Mercury. So after it conjuncts Venus, it's going to go ahead and hug Mercury. The moon moves pretty fast, so that's why we're going to have a lot of aspects dealing with the moon this week, as we do every day. But the moon in Sagittarius conjunct Mercury, and it's going to be in 25 degrees. 25 degrees is an Aries degree, and also that is going to happen at 10:24 a.m. So expressive communication, maybe even communicating when it comes to leadership and worldly events and leaders, because you're dealing with that Aries, or something dealing with the war, but being optimistic with war because that Aries degree, optimistic emotions, philosophical thinking, maybe drawn to exploring different belief systems. There's going to be a love for learning because you have that Sagittarius emotions, and it's conjuncting the Mercury and Sagittarius. So also strong storytelling ability happens with this aspects because Sagittarius is such a great learner. It loves to express itself in a very vivid way. So you can have some great storytellings happening with this aspect. Now, later on that day at 4:07 p.m., Sun is going to trine Uranus. The Sun is in the sign Capricorn. Uranus is in the sign Taurus. It's going to happen in 19 degrees. 19 degrees is a Libra degrees. So there's something with balancing and relationships. Now, trine is very, very positive. You don't have to do any work. God is just going to put this right on your lap, this opportunity. And what is the opportunity? Sun trining Uranus is very innovative, original thought thinking kind of energy or expression, embracing change, because Uranus is all about change and expect the unexpected. And you're going to love that change. You're going to be open to whatever change that is coming into your life to bring life and to help your ego. There's stability and independence because Uranus is very independent, and you're talking about that ego and self, that Sun being very independent. And stability is with the Capricorn. So Capricorn energy is going to bring that stability. Practical innovations can happen with this. Positive surprises, because again, you're expecting the unexpected, and maybe positive surprises that's going to help you with your resources, or something with some funds or banks or stocks could be happening that day. Probably is a great day to invest in money for the long term, because you're dealing with that Capricorn and you're dealing with Taurus, which is dealing with stocks. Increased self-expression also can happen with this. Now, this is something with a Libra degree. So the themes of harmony, balancing, relationships, beauty, music, art, all that can happen with this. Even some luxury things can be dealing with that. Now, later on that night, we have Mars in the sign Capricorn. It's going to sextile Saturn in the sign Pisces. That's going to happen at 6:39 p.m. It's going to be in 3 degrees. 3 degrees is a Gemini degree. And the reason why I discuss degrees, because this is going to probably be the themes of the overall aspect. Now, you're going to feel the aspect, but these aspects happen all the time. And what makes them different? The degrees. And also where they are on your natal chart, how they affect your natal chart individually, but also how they are affecting your rising sign. That's a whole nother story. Those are more horoscopes kind of thing, but this is more for the collective. So when you have Mars sextiling Saturn, sextile is very positive energy. However, you have to do some work. So it's almost like the sun is out. It's a great time to garden, but you have to actually get your hoe out and plant the seeds. Okay, so when you have Mars, the planet of action, in a sign of Capricorn, which is more long-term, taking your time, very productive, goal-orientated energy, and it's sextile, it's working with Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So it's all about long-term goals here and achieving these goals in the sign Pisces. Pisces, again, is more of that how do I feel kind of energy. Are there some boundaries that you cannot quite see? It's working together with you. So you're going to have disciplined action. You're going to have very strategic approach, maybe strategic approach towards your spirituality in the long term. That can happen all with romance, because Pisces is dealing with some romance here. Productive work ethic, constructive use of energy, especially energy if it's dealing with compassion. at the same time, because Pisces energy is very compassionate. Patience with persistence and balancing action and restraint. You can pursue your goals with determination, but you're very thoughtful in your approach because you're dealing with that Pisces energy, and working with goals, with writing or in communication, because that Gemini degree could be adding an aspect of dealing with some of your communication, or dealing with something with writing, or dealing with something in your neighborhood or siblings. Okay. Now, January 10th, we have the moon in Capricorn is going to conjunct Mars in Capricorn. Again, we have a very hard working week this week because we are dealing with a lot of aspects with the energy of Capricorn, a lot of energy of being persistent and thinking long term, and taking your time and having the patience. Now, it's going to happen in 4 degrees at 12:45 a.m. 4 degrees is a Cancer degree. So you could be very, very emotional and driven and have ambition towards your home and thinking long term for your home, or thinking long term far as ambition for your family, your mom, or women, because that's everything Cancer will represent. Also security and your legacy. So focus on discipline, energy, assertive in relationships, goal-oriented actions. There's some potential for impatience because Mars wants to go and the emotions is added to that Mars energy. But because we're dealing with Capricorn, we are going to be a little bit more patient. So just be aware of that. Emotional resilience, balancing emotions and responsibility. It's great energy. I find it that there's going to be highlighted themes because they are hugged together. So you can use this for good and bad, and I would use it for only the positive. Now, it is happening early in the morning. So either you're staying up late at night feeling this emotions, or you're waking up. I don't know who wakes up at 12:45 a.m., but it could be late at night energy. Now, moon in Capricorn is later going to trine Jupiter in Taurus, and that's going to happen at 3:14 a.m. in 5 degrees. So you're going to have some very emotional stability and optimism in the morning at 3 a.m. Now, my father wakes up early in the morning, so that's why I've decided to throw this aspect in, but you could be practically, emotionally having some growth there, financial, material, well-being, energy, very generous, very compassionate, because that's everything Jupiter would expand on. Comfort and tradition is what you can have with that. Now, later on that day, more in the evening, the sun is in Capricorn, and it's going to square the south node, and it's going to square the north node. Okay. So, the sun is our core identity. It's our life. It's our ego. It's our conscious self in the sign Capricorn. So again, we're dealing with discipline, long-term, goal-orientated, focus, achievement, energy, responsibility, ambition, right? Also, you could be dealing with people in uniforms, structured uniforms. If we're talking about the collective versus the individual. So bosses and father figures, you can be dealing with that energy, right? Now it's squaring your past, and it's squaring your future. The South Node is all about what we're already comfortable with in this lifetime and the tools that we have now. And we need to get rid of them because we're so comfortable with that. We need to move on to the North Node. And the North Node is in the sign Aries, which is about the self. And the South Node is about relationships. So we need to, and this, not the sun, but there was an eclipse in Libra, and that was when the Hamas and Israel energy all kind of blew up. I was about to say start, but it didn't start, but that's where it really came to a head and was brought to the public. So that is the energy of Libra, right? Not just the relationships of your lovers, but relationships of coworkers, partners, and maybe even open enemies. So you have that squaring, and the North Node represents our life path and what we need to do to experience personal growth in this lifetime. And the South Node is the tools that we already have, and we need to release them and let them go because we don't want to have past patterns, right? And when it's squaring, it's in challenge. So there might be resistance of letting go old patterns and not focusing, or some challenges on focusing on the self, or focusing on something that needs to get started, because Aries is all about new beginnings and starting something. So be aware of that. Make sure you have a balance of relationships versus independence, and finding a balance between your personal ambitions and maybe some enemies that you are dealing with. Okay. Now, that same day, we do have the energy of all these planets being in one house. And of course, that depends on your horoscope individually, but there's a lot of focus on this one house, depending on your rising sign. And like right now, I'm looking at Aquarius, and it will be in your 12th house. So a lot of energy is focused on that. And that Pluto is also hugging that rising sign. So just be aware of that. But there's a lot of energy going on in one kind of focus energy. One kind of energy focus. There's a lot of planets focused on one part of your life. So just be aware of that. And it's going to be strong, and everyone's going to feel it individually, but as a collective. Now, January 11th, we have the new moon in Capricorn. That's going to happen in 20 degrees. It's going to happen at 3:57 a.m. So you want to really practice all your rituals, everything January 10th, that evening. Set your intentions, set your goals, clean your house, start the new moon cycle. Okay, so what does it mean when you have a new moon in Capricorn? First of all, 20 degrees is a Scorpio degrees, so there's going to be some type of connection between death, ending, birth, wealth, taking from others, manifestation, secrets, insurance, sex, jealousy, pregnancy, because we are dealing with life and death. Okay, some type of transformation, something dealing with psychology, things that are very taboo. These are the themes with this. And Capricorn is all about long-term goals, taking your time and planting seeds for growth beyond just this year or beyond just this moon cycle. Okay, so really set your ambitious goals, build some foundations, focus on career and public image, because Capricorn is about the public image, discipline and organization, responsibility and being accountable, because that's what Capricorn embodies. Again, long-term visions and practical wisdom. Remember that this influence of the new moon can last throughout the lunar cycle. So set your intentions and have it start developing for the coming weeks. But at the same time, really think about having it develop long-term, especially with that Capricorn energy. Reflections on relationship with authority, responsibility also works with this energy. So if we're talking about police, people in power, father figures, infrastructures, foundations, all that goes with this new moon. So some rituals you can do for this new moon is you can do a vision board. And that is why we have the New Year's, and because it's Capricorn season, that's why so many people do vision boards, because Capricorn energy is about long-term goals. It's not just about the here and now. So you can do some vision boards, especially for the new moon. And remember, do this January 10th. You can do intention setting, write down your intentions for this lunar cycle and for long-term goals. Cleansing, purification, that always works for a new moon. Cleansing meaning cleanse your energy, take a bath, clean your home, set the tone and say, this is how I want it to happen, and I want to practice this for long-term energy. Commitment ritual, light a candle, make a commitment to yourself regarding your goals, and you can do like a symbolic act to say that you're going to do this hard work. Visualize and meditate. Do both work, and whatever you're meditating, you want to visualize long-term goals. You can do that. You could do some practical planning. It's just that simple, because it is Capricorn, and Capricorn energy is just that simple. It's very practical. Connect with the earth, because we are dealing with the earth sign. So go outside, connect with the earth, set some intentions with that. Capricorn symbolizes the goat. So being the greatest at all time is something you can focus on. You can set intentions of anything goat related, okay? It also is determination and ability to climb great heights despite the challenges. It's very, very positive. I'm excited for this. Set professional intentions too. Shout out to all my Capricorns, because I know you're very goal orientated. I know any goals you try to that you want to achieve, you can achieve them. I'm hoping my son hears me, because he is Capricorn. And it is true. So with this new moon, it's also going to square that north node and the south node, which I was discussing earlier. And it's in that 20 degrees, which is also the same degrees of that Scorpio energy. So maybe there's some power or control and you're having some challenges with yourself and other relationships. Just be aware of that, because we are dealing with emotions. It is a positive new moon, Capricorn new moon, but be aware of some themes of tensions between your ambition and independence, and discipline versus being very spontaneous, because you're dealing with that Aries energy, and tradition versus innovative approaches. Okay, so be aware of that. Also, and that new moon will also trine Uranus. We've been feeling this a little bit. You'll feel this a little bit, not as strong, but you will be feeling this. And there will be some surprises because Uranus is all about expect the unexpected. Trine is very positive. You don't have to do work. So it's going to be added. And maybe this will help you with that squaring aspect with the North Node. But innovative goal setting, embracing change with the stability, and financial opportunities because you're dealing with that Taurus energy. Okay. And be flexible and adaptable when setting these goals. Okay. Now, we have Venus in Sagittarius is going to trine Chiron in Aries. That's going to happen at 6:36 a.m. and 15 degrees, the same day as the new moon. But remember, the new moon, do it the night before. Every time there's any type of moon ritual, do it the night before, the night of. If it's happening at night, you can do it that night. But this is happening in the morning, so do it the night before. Venus in Sagittarius trining Chiron, 15 degrees. That is Gemini degree. Also, there is 15 degrees represents some car accidents. But we're dealing with Chiron. So Chiron is that you could have a car accident and there's some healing through this car accident. So it's very positive, even though it may not seem positive. Okay. For example, I remember my brother got into a car accident and he couldn't afford the car note anymore. He got into the car accident. The car got totaled. He was perfectly fine. However, he was able to get out of that car note because he had gap insurance. So that is an example of somewhat how the healing can happen. Healing through an adventure, because he was going on a road trip. Open-hearted relationships, exploring self-worth, empathetic relationships. Be aware of that, and creative expression. All positive with that, and you don't have to do work. But be aware of the car accidents, okay? January 12th, we have Mars in Capricorn. It's going to trine Jupiter. That's going to happen at 2:41 a.m. at 5 degrees. 5 degrees is a Leo degree, okay? 5 degrees is also dealing with sex appeal, sexual tension, sexual icons, beauty, desire, that kind of aspect. And because it's trining Jupiter, Mars is the planet of trying to achieve to get that intimacy. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go, especially with Jupiter. It's very optimistic. So energize ambitions, maybe energize ambitions through sexuality or through sex. Strategic action in planning and to have sex. Increase confidence in being intimate that day. Okay. Financial growth. Yes. You get that because Mars is very serious with that Capricorn energy in achieving abundance in your resources. Okay. And positive endeavors happens with that. Positive, great energy. January 13th, Mercury is going to ingress in Capricorn. That means it will officially be in the sign Capricorn, and that happens at 6:49 p.m. January 13th. And we have, not that we don't have enough Capricorn energy, but we get more of it. So a lot of people will be busy thinking about their long-term goals, thinking about their public image, thinking about their business, their plans, and yes, practical communication, thinking, strategic thinking, attention to detail, ambitious communication, professional communication, structured planning, cautious expression, because Capricorn doesn't just jump into everything. It really takes its time, and a lot of long-term thinking, long-term thinking. Okay. That's what you get, just a little blip of that energy on January 13th. Now on the 14th, we have the moon in Pisces is going to conjunct Saturn in Pisces. That's going to happen at 4 degrees. It happens in the morning, and that's more of a Cancer degree. So you're going to be very sensible, very realistic, very nostalgic. Makes you responsible and feel responsible for loved ones, especially mothers and children in the home. Okay. In that womb. Okay. So later on that day, moon is going to sextile Jupiter at 5:07 a.m. 5 degrees. That's a Leo degree. And remember, there's some eroticism with that degree, but emotional harmony and optimism, creative inspiration, spiritual expansion, generosity and abundance, nurturing and supportive energies, practical optimism, enhanced intuition, great day to get a tarot reading, and positive social interactions. And interpret your dreams with this energy. 2, Mars in Capricorn is going to sextile the moon later on. That's in a Libra degree, 7 degrees. So balance, action, and emotions, practical, emotional. You're practical with your emotions, effective communication, very strategic in the pursuit of your goals, challenging emotions into productivity. Great energy in the morning to wake up and get to work. Venus in Sagittarius is going to trine that north node, and it's going to sextile the south node. That's going to happen in the afternoon at 2:47 p.m. And 19 degrees, again, a Libra degree. So they're dealing with some aesthetics, dealing with some fairness, some harmony, some balance, dealing with relationships of all kinds, okay? And Venus in Sagittarius, very optimistic when it comes to love and beauty, and wants its freedom, very adventurous and open. And when you're dealing with the North Node in Aries, again, it's about yourself in this lifetime and focusing on the self. When you're dealing with the South Node, it's releasing things as far as relationships or maybe aesthetics, okay? Now, trining and sextile, trining is very positive. We don't have to do work, so we won't have to do work with advancing with something with ourselves. God puts the energy out for us when it comes to our relationships, and we're going to have to do some work with that. So balancing that independence versus that relationships, exploring relationships and harmony and cooperation with relationships. So just put in the work that day on the relationships, and the relationship with self is going to come easy. January 15th, which is my son's birthday, he will be turning 18th. Sun in Capricorn is going to sextile Neptune in Pisces. That happens in the afternoon, more evening, kind of 4:37 p.m. 25 degrees. That is an Aries degree. So there's some leadership here and something new being created. And Neptune is very creative, and it's dealing with that ego and your vitality and your conscious self. So inspired creativity, spiritual awareness, compassion and empathy, intuition, very positive. Enhanced sensitivity, balancing realism and dreams, creative visualization, and cultivating a positive aura. Very positive, especially feeling very positive energy, especially with creating. So create something, especially something new and something that's never been invented. With the moon in Pisces is going to conjunct that Neptune in Pisces at 1:03 p.m. So before we have that sextile energy, we're going to have this energy, and we're going to be very sensitive, very intuitive, very compassionate. This is also very creative. So it's a great day to be creative on the 15th, and it's also a great day to be vulnerable and have compassion for others. Okay, so yes, that's what we have for the week's astrology. Next week, Sun is going to enter Aquarius, so happy solar return to all my Aquarius. It's going to be Aquarius season for you. And Pluto is going to enter Aquarius. That is going to be a big doozy. I've talked about this several times before, but I will do a very detailed video on it next week. Until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye.